And thank you so much for being here with us for All Angles. This is the last budget debate before the upcoming general election. No, we don't know when that is yet, but that means that the budget presentations this year, they deserve a little close. Okay, I'm falling over my words. Deserve a little closer scrutiny. So that's what we're going to be doing on this program. And joining me in studio to do just that, we have Alison Peart, Managing Director of A. Peart Advisory Services. She said I mustn't call her a tax expert. We have Dr. Chris Stokes with us, Development Economist. And we have, pleased to be joining us for the first time, John Butler. He's a Director at the Jamaica Chamber of Commerce and Tax Executive Director for Ernst & Young. And as always, we are so happy to have you with us. Joining us by Zoom, we have John Levy, General Secretary of UK's, the Union of Clerical, Administrative and Supervisory Employees. Now, do have a couple clips from the presentation. So far, we've seen the Finance Minister, Favour Williams, deliver her first budget presentation, first woman to be Finance Minister in Jamaica. We've also seen the opposition spokesman on finance deliver a response, and we've seen now the opposition leader, Mark Golding, also deliver his budget presentation outlining his vision and the party's plans for the country. So want to get an update and comments on where we are so far. So before I even talk about what has been happening, let me ask you first of all, what were you hoping for out of this year's budget debate?
Well, one of the concerns I have is our Jamaicans are not voting. What I was hoping to hear would be, if I'm in an inner city, right? I'm born in Jamaica, been here my whole life, I can't fly out and go anywhere. I would want a budget that speaks to me. What is the Jamaican government gonna do to improve my life so I can move out of the ghetto and do better for my children? So in terms of what I'm expecting, we're constrained because we're coming out of high debt. We've not always been as efficient as we should because it's like financial literacy. It's not what you make, it's what you do with it. So in an election year, we also have to be careful because some of the initiatives in an election year may be geared towards election. However, I think that the budget did not go crazy on anything. It was a budget that's not going to bankrupt us based on what I'm seeing. But the big concern, we talk a lot, but we don't do enough. A lot of the items in the budget are repeat from previous years that were not done. So for example, when you speak about the micro small business exchange, Audley Shaw spoke about this in 2018. We're now in 25, I'm losing time. And we haven't done anything. What I would want to see in our budget, when we speak it, we have the draft legislation, we see what's happening, and it's not a talk budget, but an action budget.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what, let's take a look at what the Finance Minister said about micro, small, and medium enterprises. Given that that was just raised, let's take a look.
Madam Speaker, you may recall that earlier I highlighted the $2 billion that is in the upcoming budget for the DBJ for on-lending for many small businesses. In addition to that, Madam Speaker, we're also raising the GCT exemption for small businesses from $10 million to $15 million.
Okay, and the president of the Micro, Small and Medium Enterprise Alliance did say, well, what they want to do is make sure that the money actually gets to them, that they can access. But Chris Stokes, let me come to you, what you expected and what you've seen.
Yeah, well, what I expected is one thing. What I was glad to not see is an election year budget. I didn't see Santa Claus giving away things. I saw a macro, a headline number that was actually less in real terms than last year, which is consistent with the Labour Party's sort of fiscal conservative approach to these things. So that was good to see. I have not yet seen a bold approach to growth, which is the Achilles heel, right, across. But I suspect that the Prime Minister tomorrow will try to bowl that fastball All right, no, a lot of the pace should have been taken off of that ball. Sorry to be using all this cricket and that. Not even a cricketer. By the leader of the opposition today in pointing out the glaring deficiencies in growth and some other things, which was very. By the way, let me just say, it was so good to see the Honourable Mark Golding and not Mark G. I mean, it was refreshing the way he presented himself and his use of the language.
Usually Mark Golding in Parliament, though?
Yes, I've seen him a couple of times recently, and it was just for me refreshing yesterday to see his composure and his delivery, and I think that resonated very well for him as a leader in the country. That's a bit of an aside point, and we can get into the specific things that he said, which I think were important to recreate for the PNP a differentiation for the JLP that has not existed perhaps in the last 10, 15 years.
All right, hold that thought. Mr. Butler, let me come to you. And nearly at the break, but I want you to give us a quick comment first.
So I agree with the others in terms of the restraint in an election year was certainly something that was welcome. I think there was fears in the business community there might have been a little bit of over temptation, but I think the one we would have liked to have seen, the Bring Business Home initiative that was talked about, that's recycled from a number of years ago and it really hasn't moved, and something to give people setting up a business in Jamaica an alternative to having holding companies in the rest of the Caribbean. We want to see the detail on that, and that's something that is a bit overdue at this stage.
All right, I'm just about at the break, so Mr. Levy, I'm going to ask you to hold on. Let me take the break, do our business, sort out our own budget here, and then when we come back, we'll come right to you. We'll soon come.